Hey, buddy, it is Monday, and boy, I got a show for you. Okay, so I don't have any fancy intros or anything like that, but I got plenty of disastrous but entertaining stories for you all. Yes, I'm coming back to do the streaming thing. Okay, so for those of you watching live, obviously it's live. For those of you who are watching later, well, I mean, you can just say that it's live. You can pretend. It all works out the same way. Okay. But anyway, it's gonna be an entertaining show, but again, also disastrous because we're in Trump 2.0. So I stopped streaming for 2 years. Still doing my regular, show. Is still, putting up video clips and everything. But I stopped streaming for 2 years, and we go into fascism. So what does that tell me? Apparently, I am not allowed to go away. Okay. Apparently, I am not allowed to not stream, or else we end up with Nazis in power. So I don't know. I don't know what happened. But I'm gonna see about, I guess, doing some streaming. I don't know. No promises. Okay. But for now, for today, I do have a show for you. So, and it's like I said, going to be interesting. Let's start out with HUD and some of the hackers having some fun. Oh, you're gonna absolutely hate me for the puns. I welcome your hatred. Okay. There was a hack at the Department of Housing and Urban Development Monday morning that purports to show who is really in charge of the United States. Oh, that is disgusting and awful, and I hate it. But there it is. Obviously, AI generated, okay, but nonetheless, I would say that it is fairly accurate of what's going on here. Okay, now the video was on display for a short period of time before being taken down by officials at HUD. Okay, so obvious. I mean, for obvious reasons. Okay, but what's funny is that they apparently could not figure out how to stop that video. So they had people go around to every TV in the building and unplug it manually. So that is both hilarious and also disgusting because I'm sorry I had to subject you to that, but I myself had to be subjected to that. So, but as I said before, kind of accurate. All right. I mean, we all know that Donald Trump is not smart enough to have pulled off all the stuff that he is currently trying to do. Okay. Look, Trump, yes, he's a marketer. He's a carnival barker. Okay. That's what he's good at. He's good at marketing. He's good at going out and entertaining crowds and giving speeches, right? He is the circuses and the bread and circuses. Okay. Um, and so when he gets into power, when he got into power, he basically signed a whole bunch of executive orders written by other people. Okay. Heritage Foundation and the America First Policy Institute. All right. Those are the people that created all these orders. Okay. And so a lot of what we're seeing is Project 2025. So Donald Trump, he goes and he signs these things. Probably didn't read any of them. Okay. Unless they somehow condensed it into tweet length segments. All right. And then he gets done with that and he goes golfing, or, he goes on TV or something. All right. Just whatever. All right. My job's done. But the real power is not Trump. The real power is in the cabinet. The real power is made up of Heritage Foundation goons like Russell Vought. All right. John Ratcliffe, the former director of national intelligence, incoming CIA director. All right. Tom Homan, okay, former acting director of immigration and customs enforcement and the current border czar, right? Though that's who makes up the power base right now. Okay, more than half of Project 2025's 312 offers, okay, editors and contributors previously worked in the first Trump administration. So these guys, along with Elon Musk, they're the ones who are running the show. Okay. they're the ones who are actually in charge. When you think about it, too, Donald Trump's the perfect guy that they were waiting for all this time. You remember the quote from Grover Norquist, right? The anti-tax guy, all right? Anti-tax, anti-government. Oh, we got to drown the government in the bathtub. Well, here's another quote. He said, "We know what direction to go. We just need a president to sign this stuff. Pick a Republican with enough working digits to handle a pen to be president of the United States." Yeah. Well, again, they found the perfect guy, all right, in Donald Trump. The Federalist Society Supreme Court not only saved him from prison, all right, but they also made him immune from prosecution. And Musk donated over a $250 million to Trump's reelection campaign after buying up Twitter and using it to prop up Donald Trump and the far right. So that means Donald Trump owes these people big time. The billionaires, the oligarchs, and so, fellow billionaires, I should say, as well as himself, he is now doing their bidding. But of course, Donald Trump's transactional, so he's not going to do anything that also doesn't help him down the road, down the line. So, and a good example of that is Musk, that is dismantling government agencies faster than what the courts can stop him. Okay, and that helps Trump and Musk because it's getting rid of these regulations that were, keeping them from swindling people. Okay, I mean, deregulating crypto, Trump and Melania, they both got like these, crypto coins out there. So that are just giant crypto rug pulls. All right. So they're getting rich off that. And so dismantling the, agencies that might prevent people from being scammed by crypto scams. I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer for them to completely get rid of all this regulation. And so that helps Trump, that helps Musk, that helps all these right-wing freaks. Okay. Now, here's the thing, though. There is a bit of a problem for Elon Musk. Okay. And that's the fact that he is so goddamn unlikable. Like, seriously, I've got some polls here. In a February 13th to 18th Washington Post Ipsos poll, about a net 34% of respondents say they approve of how Musk is handling his job. What is his job? Was he actually given a job? Was he hired by? Who is he hired by? Nobody. Okay? Nobody. At least the voters didn't hire him. Okay? Now, 49% disapprove of the job that Elon Musk is doing. Okay. Now, look, obviously, Republicans massively skew in favor, and Democrats massively skew against Elon Musk. It's about 70% of Republicans are in favor. However, when asked if they approved of Musk shutting down federal government programs that he had deemed unnecessary, i.e., it doesn't really help me and might actually regulate me, well, it turns out that only 56% of Republicans say, oh yeah, no, Musk, he's doing a great job. While 25% say they're not sure, and 18% disapprove. Okay. Now, other polls show more respondents disapproving of Musk or the job that he's doing. In fact, over half of respondents, 55%, a Quinnipiac University poll conducted on February 13th to 17th, said Musk has too much power in making decisions affecting the U.S., while 36% think he has the right amount of power. Cue the feet video. Okay. I'm not going to show you guys that again. Okay. No, I'm sorry. Not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to save you guys from that, watching that grossness again. But seriously, that is what's going on. Okay. Then you have an Emerson College poll from a February 15th to February 17th, and it showed 45% of respondents disapproving the job Musk is doing, while 41% approve and 14% are neutral. And by the way, notice the dates on those. This is before Trump really started taking the axe to the federal government. Okay. And now, not only that, but you also have polls. I mean, Trump's approval rating has gone down, and you've got Musk really dragging down Trump. And so, not good. In fact, per the Washington Post Ipsos poll, 27% strongly approve of how Trump is handling the job. 39% strongly disapprove. And 62% said that they don't consider the words honest and trustworthy to apply to Trump. So there you go. There you go. But even as Trump's approval ratings dip, you do have multiple surveys that show Musk even lower. So not exactly the most popular person. That said, I want to give a shout out to the person, whoever is the brave government worker over at HUD that put up that really gross AI video. Because if they get to do it, so do we. I just want to say to that person, hats off to you, sir. Or madam. Not all heroes wear capes. And yes, we are actually live. So it's true, truly live. I'm sorry if I stabbed anyone in the heart. Progressively Independent, thank you for supporting the show. Yeah, definitely one of the reasons too that it's good to be back is getting these live notifications. So of like people supporting the show because more than ever I do need that support. So thank you for those of you who sign up. All right, it's not a recording. Either that or it's some really tricksy AI. I don't know. Count my fingers, okay? I don't have any extra fingers, so it must be live. Okay. All right. Let's move on. Let's go to this this story, which I think you'll like. Over the weekend, President-elect Elon Musk demanded that federal workers send him an email justifying their existence, or else they be fired. Oh boy.
You're fired.
No. Now, according to HuffPost, Musk's team sent an email to federal employees on Saturday, giving them roughly 48 hours to report on 5 specific things they had accomplished last week. Now, in a separate message on X, Musk said that any employee who failed to respond by the deadline set in the email as 11:59 p.m. EST Monday would lose their job. Now, of course, this is this is unprecedented. We've never been here before. But the response from some of the heads of major agencies, and remember, a lot of these are Trump cabinet members that have been approved. Some of them was a collective shove your email somewhere. Now, before I get to those, I do want to note that there are others like HHS under RFK Jr. They did comply, but not without a little bit of dissent here. In fact, Acting General Counsel Sean Keveney had instructed people not to respond until Monday. Here's what he said, quote, "This is an email viewed by the Associated Press, okay? I'll be candid with you. Having put in over 70 hours of work last week advancing administration's priorities, I was personally insulted to receive the below email." Personally insulted. Oh, that's good. Now, he then laid out his own security concerns and pointed out that some of the work done by the agency's employees may be protected by attorney-client privilege. I've received no assurances that there are appropriate protections in place to safeguard responses to this email. Yep. Now, one VA employee had also told HuffPost that many of the workers who received that email were outraged. Quote, "We're all furious about it. It is an attack on our integrity and values." Yes, it is. That's the whole point of the Trump-Musk regime, is to attack the government. So now, that said, let's get to a little bit more dissent here. Newly confirmed FBI Director Kash Patel. Okay. Apparently, He's like, no, not buying it. He instructed Bureau employees to ignore Musk's request, at least for now. The FBI, through the Office of the Director, is in charge of all of our review processes and will conduct reviews in accordance with FBI procedures, Patel wrote in an email confirmed by the Associated Press. When and if further information is required, we will coordinate the responses. For now, please pause any responses. While officials at the Departments of State, Defense, and Homeland Security were more clear about their position, Ty Bernanke, acting Undersecretary of the State for Management, told employees in an email that department leadership would respond on behalf of workers. No employee is obligated to report their activities outside of their department chain of command. They wrote in an email. Pentagon leadership instructed employees to pause any response to Musk's team as well. In fact, this is an email from Jules Hurst, Deputy Undersecretary of Defense for Personnel Readiness, that the Department of Defense is responsible for reviewing the performance of its personnel and will conduct any review in accordance with its own procedures. When and if required, the department will coordinate responses. Yeah. Now, the Homeland Security Department told employees that no reporting action from you is needed at this time, and that agency managers would respond according to an email from Artie Ells, Deputy Undersecretary for Management. So, there's that. Now, in addition, there are some Republican congresspeople who are apparently not thrilled either. This is Senator John Curtis of Utah saying, quote, "If I could say one thing to Elon Musk, it's like, please, put a dose of compassion in this. These are real people. These are real lives. These are mortgages. It's a false narrative to say that we have to cut and you have to be cruel to do it as well." Curtis, John Curtis, are you not paying attention to what's going on right now? It doesn't seem like you are. The cruelty is the point, you see. They love firing people. Again, Republicans elected a man whose catchphrase is literally, "You're fired." Okay?
You're fired.
There it is. Okay? They get off on this stuff. All right?
Fired! Fired!
I don't know how much more clear I can be. Okay? In fact, here's an example of that, right? Trump himself went on social media to mock the affected workers in this meme on Sunday. Huh. So, yeah, that... the workers, they cried about Trump, cried about Elon. They read some emails, and then cried more. They're totally the ones that are crying. We're not crying, you're crying. Right. Now, I got to note that some of these government workers are Trump voters. Okay? As we have seen from some of the fired Trump supporters that have come out and were like, what? Why did you guys get rid of me? Yeah, okay, I was only a probationary employee, but it doesn't mean that that I was bad at my job. Why did you take my job away from me? I only wanted you to hurt other people, not me. Why did the leopards come for my face? I didn't think they were going to eat my face. Well, they ate your face. Okay, so the leopards, by the way, are getting fat. They're going to get diabetes here, okay? Now, that said, Representative Mike Lawler, he went on ABC's this week, and he had questioned the legal basis the Trump administration has for firing all those workers for not responding to Musk's email. What is the legal basis, they ask? Well, there is none. There is no legal basis. But what I see happening is somebody's going to pull out a Ron Swanson. They're going to take a piece of paper and be like, Trump, for example. He'll just write, "I'm president." And then hold that up and be like, "That's my legal basis. That is my legal basis." Oh, okay. No, seriously. Do you think a criminal is going to care about the law? Donald Trump is a criminal. Okay? We tried to warn you he's a criminal. Just saying. And by the way, just, as I was saying in a previous segment, Trump is beholden to Federalist Society. He is beholden to the, Heritage Foundation, Project 2025, and he's beholden most likely to Elon Musk. Okay? So that's it. That's it. Now, here's what's fun about this, though. I got to find the slight bright spot, okay, in this very, very dark cloud. Because there's a lot of them, a lot of dark clouds. We got a power struggle going on with Kash Patel and Tulsi Gabbard saying, no, thank you. We do not answer to Elon Musk. Okay. There was one senior Pentagon official, too, that described the email to CNN as, quote, the silliest thing I've seen in 40 years. Which clearly got under Musk's skin as he responded on X Sunday night with, quote, anyone with the attitude of that Pentagon official needs to look for a new job. Elon, you have no power. You can't fire anybody. Like Elon Musk is a special government employee. He does not run anything. The only power he has is the power that he is given by Donald Trump and, more importantly, by the people. That's what any of these people, that's the only power any of these people have, is what the people have given them. Okay? Elon Musk is punching way above his station and is treating our government like one of his crappy businesses. It is completely unacceptable. And I'm thinking that the eventual blowback from all of this is going to be, well, it's going to be real interesting to watch. Oh, they thought he was going to spare them. Got it. Yeah, exactly. They always think that. Leopards were never going to come for my face. Never. All right. Let's move on here. I know one of you was asking about this. What about the woman dragged out by bodyguards? We're going to talk about that, actually. Special government agent has to be removed after 106 days via the designation. That's if they decide to follow it, which I doubt they will. All right. An event in Idaho is drawing massive pushback for the way that protesters were treated. So this is the Kootenai County Republican Central Committee. And they held an event over the weekend, which was crashed by protesters because it's an open event, open to the public. So crash is not even the right word for it, okay? They just showed up because they could show up. And they were immediately told, your voice is meaningless. And then one protester was literally drug out, okay, by thugs, all right? According to the local CBS News affiliate KREM2, the patriot in question, Teresa Snyder Borenpaul, she got in trouble for simply displaying negative reactions to some of the speakers, okay? She made some remarks from the audience and was first told to leave or she would be arrested. So here's some video of that event where Kootenai County Sheriff Bob Norris was confronting Borenpaul.
There's an opportunity for you to sound off, but not right now. And because you're not smart enough to know that, you're just crazy people. And what we're doing right now is just pausing while we
or be arrested.
So folks, when our nation began, there was some really
You're gonna arrest her?
No, I'm not recognizing you.
What would you like to do?
So yes, we're going to get to him. We're going to get to him. I promise. We'll get
Yes, it is.
plenty of chances.
This is not a negotiation.
But the problem is the folks. Oh, look!
I'm telling you to leave.
Look at that! Oh, he's showing how intelligent he is with all the 5 words he's asking. who just won't allow it to be spoken. So, you know, the thing is,
My name is Robert
what
Norris.
I'm doing up here is I'm simply over talking you because your
Please
voice
get
is
up or be
meaningless right
escorted
now.
out.
And we're just taking care of the rabble rousers. And eventually what's going to happen is everything's going to settle down and we'll get back to you.
All right, so you had the sheriff telling this woman, "Oh, you got to leave. You got to leave because you were disruptive, or you're going to get arrested." Arrested for what? She has the First Amendment. Okay, and the guy who was, by the way, talking about the rabble rousers, right, over the loudspeaker, that's Ed Bajarana, the event's MC, who happens to be a voiceover talent, and had launched the Business Buffet podcast. Okay, which I'm sure is a rousing listen. Okay, so now that said, the KCRCC was like, she was a bunch of, she's an activist, progressive activist coming in to cause trouble. She was shouting down legislators with insults like bigot, liars, all throughout the meeting. She was drowning out attempts at dialogue. Well, I mean, look, on the issue of calling them liars and bigots, if the shoe fits, I mean, you know, something about hit dogs and hollering. Okay. Now, this is funny. The committee then added, the group of activists vocally cheered any mention of diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, erupting in applause and chants, while loudly booing every reference to the Bible or President Donald Trump. Drawing sharp rebukes from attendees. Look at that framing. Wow, that is amazing. I mean, just I would say that it's unreal, but it's expected now. It's expected now. So now, that said, credit to Tanya Jean, who posted this video to Facebook, right? She said that they had not allowed the public to comment, okay, and had pointed out that those with differing perspectives were told to shut up. So this isn't, remember, this is an open event. This is a public event, right? And yet you couldn't say anything contrary to what the Republicans were saying. Oh, so much for an open event. It sounds more like a cult meeting. All right. So not only, by the way, were they told to shut up, but they had, you know, these goons that were sicked on them for, you know, not leaving.
What we've got right now is a situation where these folks are trying to filibuster and shut this whole program down. Unfortunately, they're being successful. To all of you who came here to hear the legislators, I applaud you for sitting there and quietly listening. I promise we will get back to you. In the meantime, we've just got to be a little aggressive with some of these folks here.
I will call the
Here. Oh, no, I should be removed. I should be allowed to cry and yell and scream. I should be able to allow to interrupt.
Come on, let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Don't touch her. This is excuse me, Sheriff Norris. This gentleman is assaulting me.
You out
this
now.
man is
You
assaulting
out
me.
now. Let's go.
This man is assaulting me.
You
Is this
out
your
now.
deputy? Is this your deputy? No, don't touch us. Is he a deputy? These are deputies. Who the are these men?
So how about that? Oh, my goodness. Come on, Musk.
Hey, hey.
It's too bad that we have some 150-year-old Social Security recipients. We know that government has been mismanaging money for decades, and Elon Musk is getting us there now.
Oh, yeah, look at those tough guys. You need 3 of them to handle a girl. Okay? One woman. Now, later on, that same MC was like, you know, we've got to get a little aggressive with some of these folks here. Your voice is meaningless right now. I can talk over all you. Oh yeah, it's real tough when you have a mic in your private security goons. I mean, which, by the way, according to Kootenai County GOP officials, they didn't even know, when asked, which company had provided security for their event. Oh, oh, okay, yeah. And then, by the way, they're like, go ask the sheriff. Remember, because there was the sheriff, Bob Norris, that was literally right there. This is according to KCRCC Chair Brent Reagan, saying, Bob was right there. Nothing was done without him being aware. Yeah, yeah. Norris denied any knowledge of the event's security arrangements and said he didn't even know the security personnel, which is funny because that guy was like, hey, guys, go get her. Go get her. She's not listening to my authority. So go get her. Go get her. And they did, and she fought back. At one point, literally biting one of the guys, to which I say, good. Good. So that, of course, led her to actually being assaulted and cited for battery. That isn't, of course, until this video got out, right? So according to Coeur d'Alene Police Chief Lee White, and I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, okay? Boren Paul was cited and released for misdemeanor battery because of the bite, though he noted that the officers who responded to CHS didn't have access to the numerous video recordings that showed what happened before they arrived. Now that we're in receipt of several videos that show the majority of the event that we didn't have at the time, the battery citation will be under review by our prosecutor's office. White said that his officers declined the sheriff's request that Boren Paul be arrested for trespassing. Remember, trespassing at an event that was open to the public. Right. Okay, then. We respectfully informed the sheriff that since this was open to the public event, we are not going to arrest anyone for trespassing. That would be inappropriate. No kidding. No kidding. Now, but what about the goons? These hired goons? Well, they worked for the private security firm Lear Asset Management. Okay, but for all she knew, they were just random dudes. They weren't wearing anything that, denoted them as security. Okay, and so, for all she knows, oh my God, these men, they're coming to haul me away, and I don't know, what are they going to rape me? Well, I don't know. It could possibly happen. And so, yeah, obviously she's going to fight for her life. Okay. Now, it turns out that these security men were not even licensed to do any of this work in the city. So, they are just random thugs. They dragged her out for speaking out of turn and being rude at a public event. But I do think that this might be a little bit more personal, at least with the sheriff. Okay, because Baron Paul ran as a Democrat for a legislative seat for 3 years in a row, 2020, 2022, and 2024. Okay, so I think she was well known in that community by these Republicans, and she's been very critical of them, and, well, they hate that. Fascists hate it when you call them out. They cannot handle a woman speaking, calling out their lies. They got to shut it all down. This is what authoritarianism looks like. Okay? It looks like curtailing a woman's free speech. Okay? So, look, the sheriff should be fired. Okay? Fired, recalled, whatever. His goons should be arrested for assault and have their license pulled. Okay? That company needs to have their license pulled. And not only that, but the KCRCC should be sued for infringing upon this woman's freedom of speech. And then that MC guy, I don't know, something needs to happen to him for saying your voice is meaningless. Okay? Because he's just rubbing that in. Look, we still have rights in this country, but they're only good if we continue to exercise and defend them like this woman was. So, anyway. another day, another MAGA threat. And this is what we're back to. Jesus. All right. On Sunday, a group of anti-Trump Republicans had to evacuate a DC hotel after an alleged bomb threat sent by an account claiming to represent Enrique Tarrio, former leader of the Proud Boys. Now, this is a guy, of course, that Trump had pardoned for being found guilty of seditious conspiracy for his role during the January 6th Capitol riots. So, now what happened here? All right. So, turns out the same time that Republicans were doing CPAC, you had a group of anti-Trump Republicans who held something called a Principles First Summit. Now, somebody didn't like that. Okay. Couldn't imagine who. And there was a threatening letter that was sent, according to a statement from the organizers of that summit. So here's what that said. Hotel security, private security, and MPD have made the decision to evacuate summit floor so that the area can be secured. We intend to reconvene and continue with the summit once the area has been secured, read the statement. So now first, that statement included references to Tarrio. So now the initial version identified Tarrio, who had been at the summit on Saturday, harassing the families of officers who defended the Capitol on January 6th per organizers, as having sent in the threat. Now, we don't know that, and neither did the summit's organizers. And so, of course, they edited that statement to say that the threat was sent in by an account claiming to represent Tarrio, who was also arrested for allegedly assaulting a counter-protester, knocking the phone out of her hand. Okay, so I don't know if it was him. Okay, we don't know. All right. Now, in a second tweet, the Principles First Summit organizers said the threat was emailed by an account with the name Enrique T. So I can see why they would think that. And continued, we do not have definitive proof of the email's origin at this time, and so cannot say with certainty who sent the email. Tarrio, of course, responded saying, I'm going to sue you for defamation, or something. Okay. So, all right. Hey, if you're wondering where the anti-Trump Republicans are, well, this is where they're at. They're doing these summits. All right. Now, look, some of the people there, George Conway, Mark Cuban, Michael Steele, Chris Christie, they go to this summit, right, the same day as CPAC, and somehow that day just end up getting a credible bomb threat. Someone's not happy. All right. Someone's very, very unhappy here. All right. Very strange. Now, police have not yet authenticated that there was a threat, that there was any bombs. And the image, this was posted by a reporter here. It does not mention Tarrio or any social media accounts by name. And the one who posted that is former CNN reporter Jim Acosta. Okay. Who, again, posted an image of the alleged bomb threat to Twitter and it had referred to multiple explosive devices, including in somebody's family's like mailbox. So that's pretty serious. Okay. Now, look, do I think that Enrique Tarrio is dumb enough to send a bomb threat? I don't know. Honestly, maybe. But I don't know if he did. Now, the reason I think that it is possible that it could be him is simply because these people believe that Donald Trump will protect them. Again, Tarrio was already pardoned. Okay. He was facing 22 years in prison. And Trump's like, go ahead. And then there are some other J6ers who, were like, hey, why don't you get rid of, my previous assault charges and things like that? I mean, you already pardoned me for J6, so why don't you just go a little further? So now, look, the reason that Trump might do that is because he knows that they're his brown shirts, okay? And he really hates the people that turned on him. People like John Bolton, who I do not have a lot of love for, him and his stupid mustache, but nonetheless, like, yeah, he's a ghoul. He's a right-wing ghoul. At the same time, he's not a friend of Donald Trump. So, and then, of course, you have the Capitol Police officers that fought against the MAGA mob on January 6th. And I think for that, for Tario, that was personal. Okay. And that's why I think that's what he was spending most of his time doing, is going after people like Michael Fanone. Okay. Capitol Police officers Fanone, Harry Dunn, and Aquilina Ganell. He was there trading insults with these people. Okay. In fact, Fanone did tell the former Proud Boy, quote, "You're a traitor to this country." So good. So good. So, okay. But anyway, yeah, there seems to be a lot of drama here between the anti-Trump Republicans and the MAGAs over at CPAC. Although, apparently some of those same J6ers got thrown out of a CPAC event as well. And were, having a spat with Matt Schlapp. So I don't know. It's apparently they're not getting along with anybody. So that said, it's only the start. I think over the next 4 years, things may end up getting progressively worse between those groups. Yikes. Oh, yikes indeed. Enrique didn't get a full pardon. I think he may be thrown back in jail for assault. Well, we'll see. We will see. We will see. All right, let's just end on the German election. So I know one of you was asking about this as well. So let's talk about that. How is that not the perfect image for Elon? Look at it. Perfect. Perfection. Oh boy. Okay. Anyway. All right. On Sunday, the German people took to the polls in this very much hyped election and kind of rebuked Elon Musk. Kind of. So what do I mean by that? It's a little bit of a mixed bag here, all right? So there's some good, there's some bad. So now first, the German electorate voted in a very conservative government. Not good. Friedrich Merz, the leader of the Christian Democratic Union, is the new chancellor. Now his CDU is looking to form a coalition with the Social Democrats after securing 28.6% of the vote. So now the Social Democrats, the SPD, received 16.4%. Okay, so now what about the AFD? Well, that is the pro-neo-Nazi far-right party endorsed by Elon Musk. How'd they do? They got 20% of the vote. 20.8%. So, yikes, that is a lot. That is 1 in 5 German voters were like, let's try the Nazi thing again. What? Now, that said, just because they got second in the vote does not mean that they're in power, okay? Because it turns out all the other parties hate them, okay? They like, nobody wants to work with them, but they still ended up getting 1 out of 5 votes. They doubled their vote share from the last election, which is not good. It is not good at all. And again, as I mentioned, there's also a very conservative government now in charge in Germany. It just happens to not be openly neo-Nazi. Okay. So now more bad news. At the end of the day, the AfD took 152 seats in the Bundestag, which means they get more speaking time in parliament and greater control over the legislative process, which is very scary. Okay. That said, all the other parties are like, we are not going to work with those guys. They have pledged to keep AFD from growing, and so they have no coalition partners, which is actually pretty rare in a parliamentary system. So if they can't go into a coalition, obviously their power, well, I mean, they don't get a lot of the power. Okay. So now, how did this happen, though? How did the AFD double their vote share? Well, they focused on immigration and Ukraine. So, in fact, according to Dr. Christian Cismera, a migration expert at the University of Frankfurt, speaking to Newsweek, said that Musk helped AFD break into the global mainstream and that their shared views on immigration would now be key points to watch in the new government. Quote, Elon Musk's involvement contributed to the AFD's growing visibility. Yes, with taking over X and promoting neo-Nazis, Alice Fidel, and the AFD, and actually having an interview with her as well. While the AFD is highly unlikely to enter government due to the cordon sanitaire around it, the party has already shaped the election agenda by making immigration the dominant issue. This influence is expected to continue, pushing mainstream parties towards stricter immigration policies, enhancing border controls, and increasing deportations. Now, Dr. Isabel Hertner, a professor at the Department of European and International Studies at King's College London, said that AFD's views largely align with those of Elon Musk. So they don't seem to mind his interference in German politics. He supports the AFD publicly, and they see this as a legitimization of their policies on issues like migration, Russia's war in Ukraine, or I should say invasion of Ukraine, gender, and other issues. So now, that said, voters went to the polls based, according to polling, on immigration. And so that's how the far right has been getting into power all across Europe and, of course, the United States. Okay, so you have this fear of immigration, fear of other people, fear of losing your own culture or something, or of other people's cultures. And so that argument does resonate with certain people. Okay, so the right wing has had a lot of time to fine tune their message, as well as by all the avenues of getting out that message, and to fearmonger about things, and to take certain things, like, for example, there have been attacks in Germany, okay, involving migrants, okay, and so those have been heavily marketed, politicized, and delivered out to the people to say that, oh, this is why we need to stop the immigration. We need to stop the immigrations. From what I understand, okay, and so look, the right has figured out their messaging, but the left apparently has not. And what we try to do is we try to appeal to empathy, right? But unfortunately, that can only take you so far. And so, and that is an issue that we have to figure out how to message people, how to fight back against the anti-immigrant, immigrant fear-mongering, basically. And the other issue, of course, facing the left is, how do you fight back against people who are extremely wealthy and are able to control the flow of information? So that's another issue. Okay. Now, that said, there's a lot of negative here, but there is a bit of a glimmer of hope in this relatively dark cloud, and that's just the fact that Musk tried to buy his way into this election and didn't work. Now, he lost, and partly it's because of the way the parliamentary politics in Germany works. Okay, so this is as Dr. Matthias Dilling, a professor of political science at Trinity College Dublin, and a co-convener of the German Politics Specialist Group, told Newsweek, except for the AfD, none of the other major parties responded favorably to Musk's interventions during the campaign, and I do not expect for this to change in the immediate future. Well, that's good. It's good, the fact that there are a lot of these European countries that do not have openly corrupt systems like the United States. So it makes it more difficult for someone like Elon Musk to come in and buy it. Where it only took $277 million for the richest man in the world to buy the presidency in the United States. So, I mean, uh, how do we fight against that? How do we? I would say parliamentary systems. Okay, and I know we're far from being a parliamentary system currently. The way that it works is you have two parties, and the other one's a spoiler. Okay, and so with our system of money in politics, corruption, and the bicameral, I'm sorry, not bicameral, but just having a two-party system in this country. Bicameral has more to do with like the houses, the House and Senate, but just having these two parties here that basically dominate our politics and oldest corporate giant donor money in our system makes us extremely susceptible to someone like Musk. And it sucks to have been warning against that for years and years. The money in politics, it is wrong. You've got to get that money out because billionaires can come in and buy the process and buy our politicians and buy the presidency and all that stuff. And of course, the establishment, because they were so dominant before, we're like, oh, no, don't worry about it. We're fine. The system is working great, working as intended. We're keeping out the progressives, and people won't vote for the extreme far right. Come on now, especially when we adopt some of their positions. Turns out they were absolutely wrong, and now we are all paying the price for it. But at least Germany avoided the worst outcome for now. Duopoly. There you go. That's a good word. Oh boy. That's it. That's all I've got for y'all today. So, damn, that was quick. All right. So, thank you all for joining me. I really appreciate that. Please, if you like the show, like and share. Consider becoming a patron. Patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. I really need your help more than ever, or sign up to become a member on YouTube so I can keep doing these live streams. Everybody, thank you for joining me. Really, really appreciate you all. And I don't know, might do a stream tomorrow. If not, we'll always have the clips. All right, everybody. So thank you all. You have a great day. And hey, try to stay strong during these very tough and horrible times.